During this shutdown period, during the COVID-19 pandemic, which is stretching across the world and affecting our lives so considerably, not the least of which is our education and the need for young people and older people to be doing their education at a distance on the internet. What do you think are some of the implications of this distance education? Yes, thanks for the question. I think there are serious implications, particularly if it's a long-term issue. We can cope with a lot of what happens in distance education over a short period. Socially, it's difficult for children and young people not to be physically in touch with their mates. Zoom's all very well and good, but it's a very different style of interaction. Some endeavours in education work better on the internet than others. The radio broadcaster Ed Ayres is saying that he's able to teach string instruments quite successfully on the internet. And just as a little bit of name dropping, I was at a workshop with him years ago, and he got to demonstrate on this instrument. And that's a pretty neat bit of name dropping if ever I heard it. But in teaching an instrument, sound and sight is what is needed, so long as the teacher has the same kind of instrument for demonstrating on, it works well. But for artists, it's a bit different. You can certainly demonstrate, and you can see what the student is doing. But just sometimes it's very helpful to be able to take the person's brush or pencil and show them at close quarters on their piece of work how to do this particular technique or that particular style. Sometimes it's necessary to make a correction. There's been a monumental botch up, and someone with a more expert hand needs to come and fix it up to set them on the track again. Can't do that to distance education. So yes, there are implications, particularly in some areas of distance education. It's also a problem with bandwidth in some households. You've got several members of the family vying for limited bandwidth to be in touch with their teachers, with their classes, and responses are just too slow. Others coping really well. I know a couple of children say, well, works well for us. We finish our work by lunchtime or 2 o'clock, and then we can go out to play, but we can't go out very far. And thinking ahead into the future, what if we find ourselves in a similar situation in 10, 20, 50, 100 years' time? What might distance education look like then, particularly in your area of teaching art? Yes, well, I've been thinking about this quite a lot. I know that there are artists talking around the world about how to tackle this issue. There are some very interesting conversations going on, and I myself have been doing some research into this, and I think we're actually on the very doorstep of being able to make a major breakthrough in technology to enable this really hands-on help to artists. And look, here's an example of what I think will happen. Now, it's perhaps just something I might be able to suggest. Now just let me mix this bit of paint. Now let's get that. Yep, I think that's better. Well, thank you for this interesting conversation. Well, thank you. It's been really nice to be talking to myself and having this very intelligent conversation with me.